Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturday night at the Canadian Collegiate League. I have a doubleheader here. We are going to be getting started with Western University versus the Waterloo Warriors. So we are in the Challengers division for this matchup. So the Challengers division is, of course, going to be that division that is in between the Open Division and the Premier Division. So these are teams that are looking to kind of punch up and really prove themselves as they push through this semester and try to make it all the way to those playoffs. I'm super excited to see these two teams. These are two teams that are returning to CCL here, and they've always been super fun to watch. So I'm expecting a mild amount of chaos for the series tonight, but it definitely is going to be a fun one no matter what. So let's take a moment and we'll go ahead and get introduced to our teams. They are all in lobby. We're going to be figuring out the map that we're heading to and the bands that are happening. So we got a little bit of time here before we have to head on into things. So first up, it is going to be a Western University here. So we're going to have Blue Ice and the Red Ninja on DPS here, Do on that tank roll, Jester and Dr. Tony on the support. This is, if you've been watching any of my streams from the last semester, or if you got to tune into the Canadian Esports Nationals co-stream, you are familiar with some of these players. Always a treat to get to watch them, and Dr. Tony is the Mercy player here in CCL, so I'm always excited to get to see some Mercy gameplay in these competitive matches. Taking a look over at the other side of things, Waterloo Warriors, another familiar team here. Very fun to get to watch them. 11 Rook and Genos going to be the DPS here, destined on that tank. Meester and Tim Dice on those support roles. And as I'm looking in the lobby here, I suspect I actually might have some of these DPS wrong. Let me see if I am able to change this out, because it is not going to be those DPS in to start. It is going to be Astro, Darky, and Xander. So let's fix that before we start lying to everybody in chat. Here we go. There we are. So this is the names that you're going to end up seeing in your lobby here, but it is a DPS player. Let's give Astro Tracer. Why not? So yeah, some familiar faces here. We do have, of course, in CCL, the entire map pool being open. So the way that it's going to work to try and sort out what maps we go to is that we do start on control. It's going to be a map ban coming out first, and that was from the side of the Western University. And then it is the Waterloo Warriors get to select what control map we will start on, and they already know where we're going to be heading for map number 1. It is Oasis that got banned out. That's Ilios that's going to get selected here as our first map. So, fun one to get into. And now, we await the hero bans. So, the way that the hero bans are going to work is pretty standard. So, it is going to be the Western University team that gets to ban out hero first. And they're going to go ahead and ban out the Diva here. So, we're not going to have any Diva gameplay here in Ilios, and now this means that Waterloo are going to have to select either a DPS or a support here in response. And I see they say ban Ven, and then I get the question of, is it a Venture or is it a Vendetta ban? Well, it is a Vendetta ban coming out here, so we are not going to have the Diva, we are not going to have the Vendetta here for Ilios, and I mean, Vendetta has been getting a whole lot of playtime. The Diva, I think, as well, especially here on Ilios, where there is going to be a lot of this kind of high ground control happening. I think that two very impactful bans here. This is going to be a best of 5, so it's going to be a first to 3 here. So sometimes using these really impactful bans early on can, come back to bite you a little bit if you have to go the distance. But we'll see how these two teams work with things, as we are just getting the R's in chat. I'm not gonna show the lobby here, but you might get to see a glimmer of what the names of these teams are, just to give you an idea of some of the chaos that is coming in here. We have the Western Lizards versus the Washed Warriors. So it's gonna be a fun one for sure. These teams, returning teams, they get to know each other a little bit. I'm sure they've scrimmed against each other as well. So we'll, I'm hearing that we are just waiting on actually one player, and then we'll head into things here. But I'm actually just on a separate page here. I'm gonna bring up the see if I can take a look over at the standings of these teams, because this is, of course, we're a couple weeks into the season now. But this Challenger division is not Swiss stage, so these teams can reschedule their matches to pretty much whenever they want, as long as it's like before the end of the semester and the playoffs. So, it is Waterloo coming off of a 3-0 victory, against Université de Montréal, and a 3-1 victory against Trent Excalibur as well. I believe that we got to see that one on, actually on the, stream here. And then on the side of Western, sorry, that's Waterloo. On the side of Western. Oh, have Western not really played any matches? Oh, they have. Here we go. Completed matches. So Western, yeah, Western went to that map 5 against Trent University, or Trent Excalibur. Lost to UBC. So right now, Western's really looking for a win here. That was a really close map, a match against Trent, but not able to find the win in the end here. And Waterloo taking a 3-1 over Trent. So that is going to be kind of the, setting the stage here for what we are going to be seeing matchup-wise. We're ready to head into Ilios now. Let's get into things. We're going to be starting out over on Ruins first here. It's going to be the TP out of the spawn for both teams.
It's time to save the world.
I have these swapped. I need to fix my overlay. It is going to be Waterloo over on the blue team first. And it is going to be Destin picking up that first kill here. Trade's coming through though. Dr. Tony is going to fall, so Western's not going to have that Lucio speed to work with here. Destin's still tank gone here for the side of Waterloo. Does spell a little bit of difficulty here. Waterloo positioning themselves on the point first. Red Ninja on this Reaper, looking to make it very, very difficult for Waterloo to stay in this point, to try and flip it over, and yeah, that is going to be Western pushing forward here, taking the point and taking the high ground. You can see Do is rotated over up here, but it's the pressure actually being pushed onto the Whitson. Meets her over on the Jetpack Cat as well. I failed to mention that, but gonna have control of the skies here, and unfortunately, Dr. Tony has fallen once again here, the first to go down for the side of Western. Astro does take down Red Ninja as well, so it's going to be a pretty quick, pretty quick flip over, but Ice is going to make it difficult here for the side of the Western. There we go, though. The kills come through. A nice little chunk of percentage built up here for the side of the Western team. All right, Pulse Bomb ready to go here for Xander. Meester's going to be able to get that cat napped up on the line very soon as well. Blue Ice swapping over onto the Cassie here. I suspect the Cassie. Ooh, Jester with the headshot onto the Jetpack Cat. Is going to be the anti-air Kiriko coming out here. And with Destin falling here, it is going to be Western pushing forward. And they're looking to make a quick flip back over here. The Pulse Bomb does come out from Xander, but isn't going to find anything as Xander gets sent back to the spawn of Blue Ice on this Cassidy. And 27% here for the side of Waterloo, but Western were able to find their way back into this fight pretty quickly here. And Western holding on to this Primal Rage and the Kitsune Rush as well. Destined on this Dominant. I mean, the range of that primary fire, absolutely incredible. 4 ultimates to work with here for Waterloo to push into things. Western trying to hold some space. Catnapped out. Did we sure get anybody? No, did not find anyone with that catnap, but the mobility of the cat does mean that you're going to be able to just fly away from danger here. The Kitsune Rush committed from Jester does end up falling though, and Dr. Tony falls as well, courtesy of Astro. So there's no support here for the side of Western to try and stay alive in this fight. And the remaining members of Western, okay, yeah, Do is going to go for the reset here. They were really just caught out in a really awkward spot here. Red Ninja, yeah, Waterloo is aware that the Reaper is back here. Going to be able to know the health back stolen by Xander, and that is a late kill here onto Red Ninja, so Western are going to have to just wait a little bit longer. More percentage on the board for the side of Waterloo. Waterloo did have to commit heavy into that to flip this point over, so it is going to be this Panopticon ready to go. Both GPS ultimates and that Primal ready to go for the side of Western to push into this. Looking for the Panopticon. It does connect onto the Reaper, but it's immediately going to be removed to courtesy of that Wraith form. Meeter takes out Blue Ice here. Hit scan? No, I don't think so. It's the cat winning out that victory. All right, beat committed here from Dr. Tony. Connects onto 3. Red Ninja's going to use that beat to pull out the Blossom here. Doesn't have the Zarya bubble, but lots of health. That's a good chunk of damage. Does take down Xander. Dr. Destined has fallen as well, so no tank here, and it's going to be numbers advantage in the favor of Western. They're going to push forward here, 82% on the board. This has been incredibly back and forth so far. Easter's going to be able to run away this Reaper claiming control of the high ground here. And now it's kind of these teams are taking turns investing heavily ultimates-wise into these fights, so Blue Ice are going to be holding on to the only ult for the side of Western, this Deadeye here, and they're approaching 100%. It's a Deadeye out trying to control the space. Somebody from the side of Waterloo is going to have to touch. They're waiting, and yeah, you peeked a little too soon there, Meester. Cat is going to be taken out of things. Xander manages to trigger the overtime, but the numbers are not really there. Nicely timed Zuzu from Jester is going to deny the value from that bull shot, and the team kill. It will be Western picking up the first point here on Ilios Ruins. Great use of the Winston to claim control of the high grounds that surround the Ilios Ruins.
Ready for battle.
I think Dr. Tony and Jester made good adjustments as well to try and just kind of survive a little bit longer. If you're playing this dive composition into the Domina, it's really about trying to maintain the space. Domina has a lot of poke damage, so you really can't kind of take any of that damage before you initiate your dive, because you're going to have your cooldowns forced out early here. So some nice adjustments from Western to use cover and distance a little bit more to their favor, but it is going to be Destined swapping off of that Domina. Nice little taxi through the air, and that is going to be so much place claimed by the Winston here. But of course, the rest of Waterloo do have to walk quite a distance to be able to keep up here, so Destined isn't really going to be able to hold on to that space super effectively. Looking for a dive target here. Everybody from the side of Western are set up on this low ground. Nice take aim from Astro, connects onto Dr. Tony, but the heals are there, and we can see that Do claiming control of the high ground to the side of Western. Point has opened now, and we can see that it is going to be Western rotating over onto the point here. A little bit of a contest coming through. Everybody from Western actually gets shot over onto this coast side. Dr. Tony finding the boot kill. And that is going to be Western picking up the first cap here on Lighthouse. Dr. Tony with another boot kill. This one not an environmental pulse bomb already from Xander. Gonna throw that in and get out of dodge very quickly here. So back to the drawing board for Waterloo. Xander is still lurking behind. Astro Darky is gonna swap over onto the Emray here. So showing us 2 of these newer heroes. Oh, Jester with the headshot. The critical headshots have been impressive so far from Jester. It is going to be the Catnap coming online for Meester. Both support ults coming online quickly here for the side of Western. Western would love to be able to commit one of these ults first just to keep the tempo up. Pushing forward. Zuzu has been forced out here. Xander has a really nice angle to work with, but not quite finding the timing here with Destined to confirm a kill. Jester pulls out the Kitsune Rush. Here's the Catnap coming in. Does it connect? Connects onto the Reaper. Will the TP be there? No, it will not. But Meester does end up getting punished by Blue Ice. So it is going to be the support responsibilities falling on the Tim Dice on this. Kiriko! Ooh, yeah, that is the power of the Peacemaker perk here. Blue Ice. A little triple kill here. Looking to take out the cat as well. Meester has made his way back into this fight. Trying to hide up on this high ground. Is going to be pressured out by the Winston, but the cat does have pretty much... Oh no! As I see that, caster curse onto Meester is going to end up falling here. Great pressure from Western, and you can see that the next target is going to be that Kiriko. Tim Dice, the TP right into the loving arms of Blue Ice. The shotgun, or a pistol to the head. Be committed here from Dr. Tony as Western looks to continue this aggression because there is not a whole lot of time left on the clock here, and unfortunately, for the side of Waterloo, they just have not been able to find any percentage on this point. It's going to be, Destin's trying to get a foot on. Overtime has been triggered here. Will anybody be able to touch? Looks like Xander is staging for it. Kazune Rush on to the point, has this pulse bomb, but not going to be able to use it. Now it is going to be Red Ninja with this Blossom on the point, shutting the door here for Waterloo. Astro Turkey does have the override protocol, but it is too late for Waterloo as it is going to be Western University picking up the first win here on Ilios. A lot of back and forth on Ruins, but felt like once we moved over on to the side of Lighthouse, it was just a little too tricky for Waterloo to find the positional advantage against Western and a tempo that Western was setting. All right. So we are going to be going into map number 2, and the way that the maps are going to work, like I mentioned already, CCL has an open map pool, so every map that is available for competitive play is available in CCL, except for Watchpoint Gibraltar. The changes to Watchpoint Gibraltar are just a little too significant for CCL to consider putting into the map pool, so it is going to be Western. Nope, sorry. It is going to be Waterloo that get to pick the type of map we go to. So it's going to be a hybrid or it's going to be an escort. And then after that map type is selected, it'll be a map ban that comes out for Western. And then Waterloo finally will get the map pick here. So a lot of power in the hands of Waterloo for sure. Gonna have to make the most of it. Typically, I do see us go over onto hybrid more often than not for the second map. But like I said, escort is still on the table here. Now, both of these teams were running those dive compositions, but we were seeing more of this kind of Cassidy Reaper, which, you know, not really a dive DPS, but working very well together with that Winston and the pressure that was coming out from Dew. So we'll see if they are, if Waterloo, I keep looking at Washed Warriors. I don't want to call them the Washed Warriors. That's what their name is in the lobby here. If Waterloo want to take us over on to a dive map here, maybe they want something a little bit more classic dive. Like I said, Gibraltar is not available, so you're not going to be able to go to like the classic dive map. But there is still, you know, Route 66 has some dive components to it. Or if you want to just change up the tempo entirely and move over onto a more rush composition, that's also definitely an option. All right. Well, we know where Waterloo are going to be taking us for the map type, and of course it's going to be the 50-50 not going the way of Rain. Interestingly, it is going to be the escort map for map number 2. So now we await which escort will be banned out by the side of a Western. Of course, won't be Watchpoint Gibraltar, but every other map going to be on the pool here. Feel like we do get to see a decent amount of circuit. Of course, probably not going to see any Winston compositions coming out on Circuit Royale. But, I mean, maybe if you're Western and you want to stick on this Winston composition, you ban out Circuit to force you onto a map that you might be able to actually get away with playing the Winston. But no, it is going to be the Junkertown ban coming out here. Not looking for any of that long-range damage. Or any of that poke damage, honestly. Destined could very well play the Domina on Junkertown. I feel like you could still play it on Circuit or even on Havana, Shambali. A lot of these escort maps are pretty good for poke compositions. So maybe it'll come down to the hero bans that'll be really, really impactful here for the side of, well, Western and Waterloo, honestly. All right, Waterloo. Selecting which escort map we're going to be going to, and they are going to take us over on to Shambali Monastery. I feel like it's rapidly becoming a much more popular map. When it first came out, it felt like we didn't really see a whole lot of Shambali. People were still more so leaning into Circuit or into Watchpoint Gibraltar. But I think that as people have kind of figured out how to play it, definitely getting a lot more time on screen, and a lot of this is going to be good for these poke compositions. Even seeing some of these like double flex support comps where you're running that Iari kind of Baptiste potentially. Now, like I mentioned on the rosters, Dr. Tony does play a lot of Mercy, and we didn't see him play any Mercy, of course, on Ilios there, but the Mercy can pair very, very nicely if you have some of this, like, poke damage coming out. The damage boost can be very, very impactful here. So maybe we get to see that. Of course, these hero bans are going to be coming through shortly as well, and it is going to be Waterloo that get to ban the hero first, and it's like they're reading my mind. They banned the Mercy. Yeah. Waterloo know what Western are pulling out here. So they're going to go ahead and target out Dr. Tony. So no Mercy on the field here for the side of Western, which is going to put Dr. Tony back over potentially onto that Lucio. I don't know if I've seen him play a whole lot of other kind of main supports here. As Destined says, sad Dr. Tony noises. I know, it is sad. All right, so this does mean that Western are not going to be able to ban out a support here, so they're gonna have to think about one of those tanks or a DPS here. And yeah, the super smart ban, I like this. It's gonna be the Domino ban coming out from Western, and it's a good call. I definitely was expecting to see Waterloo over on the Domino. Dr. Tony says, I haven't played Mercy since 3 seasons ago. I feel like I might have video evidence that says otherwise. Maybe? I don't know, though. Don't quote me. Big Mac, only 8 viewers. People got things to do on a Saturday night, I suppose, that is not here watching Overwatch. But it's okay, there's going to be a VOD, so people will be able to catch up on this match afterwards. All right, we got the hero bans in, we got the map selected. So no Domina here. Like I said, Shambali is still more favored towards this poke, so I would not be surprised if we end up over on the Sigma or potentially over on the Ramatra here if you want to run a more rush style. Would more so expect to see that on the attacking side of things, and then maybe see the Sigma over on the defense. We'll have to see, though. It is going to be Waterloo that are going to be on the defense to start out here. Getting ready to head into Shambali. There is no Mercy and there is no Domina here. So, what are they going to play? Let's check it out. Waterloo. No swaps as well. I guess I should also mention that. I do believe that these teams do have substitutions available, but they're just going to be sticking with the same rosters as Ilios here for Shambali. Alright, doors have opened, so I trust absolutely nothing that Western University shows me, but it does look like Destin is going to move over on to that Sigma, and then the Kiriko Wuyong backline. This does make sense. If you don't see the double flex support, if you don't see the Iari coming out, it does tend to be the main support over on the Wuyong instead. Echo and Ash as well. Should be fun. It's nice to have the long range damage from the Ash. Waterloo. I know that Dew does have a Junker Queen, so definitely it's possible to see this. And Red Ninja over on the Vendetta. Yeah, okay, you run the Vendetta, you're gonna run the Zarya here as well. So this is a pretty strong composition. I mean, if you've been watching competitive Overwatch at all recently, you've definitely seen this Zarya Vendetta combo here. So it's all about the timing. You need to move quickly. You need to be able to kind of get Red Ninja in to get the damage on. You can see the dude positioning for it, waiting for the go button. You do have to displace this Waterloo team from the high ground. You really have no choice but to kind of put pressure up there. All right, the bubble in. The rock not quite connecting here. Tries to use the shield to block off heals, but Red Ninja with that block is going to be able to negate so much of that damage. And yeah, that is going to be Western just rolling forward here on this composition. Not only displacing Waterloo from the high ground, but securing the team kill. So that's going to allow for a whole lot of card progress here for the side of Western, which is unfortunate for Waterloo because you really do want to try and burn off as much time as you really can on that first corner. It's going to be a chance here for a recontest from the side of Waterloo. Going to be an angle being picked up by Xander here, but don't really have necessarily all the support you'd love here, and Do is all charged up on this Zarya, so the damage really coming through. It is going to be Destined putting some pressure onto the cart, but I pretty much immediately bursted down here. And Red Ninja has taken your high ground as well. This Vendetta is so scary. The supports for the side of Waterloo are going to be able to get out here, but again, it's just more cart progress, more or less unimpeded here. In fact, Dr. Tony's just going to go for a ride in the cart, just sitting in the back of the pickup truck here. It is going to be a swap here. Destin's going to move over onto the Zarya, and a nice opening pick here from Xander. Going to take Blue Ice out of the fight. That is the overclock gone here for the side of Western. Do they want to commit this Kitsune Rush to try and find a trade? Yes, they do. Jester committing this Kitsune Rush in. Xander does still have a bit of an angle here on the Echo. Idol Blast in as well, and the Zuzu has come out. It's going to be a big one. It does connect onto the Zarya, but the bubble is there, and the healing is there. Oh, all right, but just briefly as... Now it is going to be the numbers advantage here for the side of Waterloo. Finally getting some stabilization here, and not a moment too late either. That card is pushed out quite far. Xander, though, getting a little too aggressive, and Jester always good for the damage on this Kiriko. So there is going to be an opening here for Western to push back in while Xander is still coming back from spawn. You have the grab ready to go for Do, and I mean, the grab Sundering Blade combo is very scary. It'll cut through a beast. Not that there is a beast. Recon that. Gets taken down, but it is going to be the damage coming through regardless here for the side of Western. Waterloo commits this copy over onto Xander, trying to build up to this grab. The healing coming through, so it's looking good to build one, and it's going to be the grab on the cart. Blocks down the Zarya here, and that is going to be enough for Waterloo to stabilize. Some good trades coming out. That Kitsune Rush from Tim Dice definitely keeping Waterloo alive through that grab, and a fantastic kill under Red Ninja as well. That Thundering Blade just would have absolutely decimated the Waterloo team. Mistu's going to move over onto the Mizuki here, so off of the Wuya. Interesting. Getting aggressive here. Does have that TP back. I think that the chain here for the side, or for the Mizuki is going to be really good at kind of countering out this Vendetta as long as you can survive that initial bubble. So there's the bubble in, here's the grab out, and 100 charge. Destin is going to melt through that Vendetta and the Zarya and allow that Mizuki to get aggressive as well. This is going to actually drop down onto the low ground here, but we'll have the support to make sure the T stays alive through it. And so far, it looks like Waterloo have really stabilized up on this high ground. Blue Ice does still have this overclock ready to go, but it's very hard for Western to kind of find the space to work with here. Gonna push forward as Waterloo ends up getting a little bit split, and that's the go button. You're gonna throw in the Kitsune Rush from Jester as well. Everybody from the side of Waterloo backing way up, but they are just met with the sword of Red Ninja, that Vendetta. Not only incredibly powerful, but incredibly mobile as well, especially with Dr. Tony taxiing him around. Team kill comes through, and it's looking like Western are going to be able to cap this one up. Yes, it is not going to be a contest coming through from Waterloo. Overclock, ready to go here for Astro Darky. The Sundering Blade has been built up. Only ult currently online for Western, but Dr. Tony is getting a beat online as well, so big opportunity here for Waterloo to try and stabilize once again. Just under 3 minutes on the clock to work with on the attack. Destiny's falling a little low here, and Tim Dice is going to commit that Kitsune Rush. It is going to be the Sundering Blade out, and so much damage on the Destin, but that Kitsune Rush healing really going to keep that Zarya alive and charged up as well. Destined going to push even further into the spawn. Does not want to stay alive. Yeah, you need to get that charge reset going here. So good aggression and timing on that Kitsune rush for the side of Waterloo. But now it's all about these grabs that are going to be coming online, because on the side of Western, you do have a beat to try and sustain through the grab for the side of Waterloo. But this Kikai Sanctuary from Easter can also be very helpful. In fact, okay, just delete this area altogether. You're not going to be able to pull that Graviton Surge out, and now it's another aggressive push forward here. Astro looking for a late kill, targeting down the Vendetta, and Xander's trying to follow up on it as well, but look at that mobility that comes through from Red Ninja. I mean, it's going to be even the TP in here. Jester keeping that Vendetta alive. Oh, okay, but it's going to end up paying for it. It's going to even grab out here from the side of Waterloo. Actually, the Kikai Sanctuary committed as well. What an odd place to be taking a fight right now if you're Waterloo. You push all the way up past the choke point here, and you're just trying to find those stagger kills out onto the side of Western. And I mean, it kind of pays off for you, but that grab that comes through, the Kikai Sanctuary that comes through, none of it was in response to this grab. And there's the grab in. It's the beat so that everybody from Western can just walk forward. The copy over onto the Vendetta for Xander is going to get deleted pretty much immediately, and now it's just a matter of dying on the cart if you're Waterloo. Team kill coming through with 1 minute on the clock. A good amount of time burned off the clock here for the side of Waterloo, but they're still up against two ultimates that are ready to go for the side of Western, and this overclock here. Kitsune Rush is at it once again. It's going to be the side in, very aggressive from the side of Blue Ice, but is going to pay off by taking down the Zarya. Oh, you don't see that every day. Red Ninja going to get an environmental kill onto the Echo, and yeah, that is such a strong combo to finish off Shambali here for the side of Western.
0-3.
Not a lot of time in the bank, but this does mean that if Waterloo want to try and tie things up here in the series, they are going to have to first start by completing the entirety of Shambali Monastery, and it's pretty hard to come into a map just playing for the overtime rounds. Definitely a tricky one, but not undoable by any means. I really like the Zarya swap coming out from Destined. I think that the Sigma does make a lot of sense if you're anticipating maybe a bit more of kind of like a dive or a slower comp to come through for the side of Western, but as soon as you see that Vendetta Zarya Lucio comp, you can't stick on the Sigma. You're going to get run down. And it looks like that is going to stick here for the defense on the side of Waterloo. Destined over on the Zarya Astro on the Widow, and oh my goodness, could Xander...
What experience do you
Oh,
possibly
Rain,
bring
you're
to this
confused by the
mission?
colors. This is the attacking team. We don't trust them. Never mind, we're moving on. Defense here. It's going to be the same comp. Yes. The Zarya, the Vendetta, the Lucio, the Kiriko, and of course Blue Eyes over on that Sojourn. Astro is on this Widow, and it's probably for the shot. No damage coming through. Does force out a bubble from the Zarya. Does force a second bubble from the Zarya, but not going back to the spawn here. And okay, Xander, I take it back. We are going to see the Onron, and I can say with a good amount of confidence, this is the first time I personally have seen the Onron played in any of these matches here. And I've watched a decent amount of them, I'd like to think. So we'll have to see what the Onron can get done here. The cleanse from Jester, of course, is going to negate a lot of this fire damage, and Blue Ice is going to send that Onron right back onto the spawn here. And it is going to be Western chasing forward. Waterloo that trying to put themselves into a little bit of an awkward place here. They were trying to find the, oh no, and Misa's still in an awkward place. Yeah, trying to find the map flip there. And unfortunately, they end up getting really heavily split, so it doesn't work out for them. It is going to be swapped here as Meester's going to bring out the Jetpack Cat. Looking to control some of the skies here. He's going to have to be worried about Jester, because we've seen Jester take the Jetpack Cat out of the sky on Ilios, and also worried about Blue Ice. Ooh, pressure out. Forces the Suzu already here, so this is going to be some space being gained for the side of Waterloo. Whoa, overclock the railgun, not quite going to find the head of Tim Dice, but does a big chunk of damage here. Red Ninja on that Vendetta. In a little bit of an awkward spot to try and find the engage here is really just looking for that forward kind of pressure rather than trying to really get aggressive and get in the back line. Overclock ready to go here. He's going to be pressure out onto the Sojourn. Phase just forces the slide and actually slides out into the open, but the headshot not coming through there from Astro Dark. He's doing his Widowmaker. Trying to find the Vendetta. Is going to help commit some of the damage at least. And here's the Kitsune Rush from Tim Dice. They're looking to capitalize on it, and they get just that. It is going to be Dew falling here. And although Jester did commit the Kitsune Rush as well, it was not fast enough to try and keep that Zarya alive. So this is going to be a disengage coming through from Western, and very nicely timed. So it looks like they're going to have a chance to recontest here. Catnap nearly ready to go. I expect Nietzsche's going to look for it as they push in. Zarya bubble out. Suzu, oh, it unfortunately misses the Zarya here, but the damage still here from the Cat. Tries to take on Jester and wins. Dew is going to commit this Graviton Surge on the point. Blue Ice with the overclock headshot. Free in the Graviton Surge. The body shot onto Astro Dark is going to take out that Widow as well, but Xander has moved over onto the Vendetta of his own here, so Onron not doing the job, but the giant sword definitely getting things done here. Pushing up, not quite going to connect onto that overhead for the Kiriko kill, but oh, whoa, Jester getting the kill fade away onto Meeser, and then the TP out. Very aggressive from the Kiriko. You love to see it. Astro Darky is moving over on to the Cassidy here, so looking to use this Hinder to maybe try and shut down Red Ninja a little bit more and have a bit more consistent damage here compared to that Widow. All right, it's an aggressive beat in. Is it going to pay off for Western? They need to find the pick, and they find just what they're looking for. The tank has fallen to the side of Waterloo, and Jester not done yet. Is looking for a little bit more. Tim Dice got the TP out, but is currently being hunted. Okay, Tim! Going to trade out onto Jester here, but and also still somehow alive. There we go. Is going to be taken down in the end. But Jester's going to be able to get back into the fight pretty quickly here, so not too bad for Western. Bubble out on to Xander, but isn't going to be able to really get any aggression with it. It's more or less just charge for the Zarya here. Trying to build up some of that charge because the Graviton Surge is ready to go. Dr. Tony does not have to be. Potentially we see the Sundering Blade used as a semi-defensive ult. See great new things. Alright, it's the aggression in here. Gets hindered and gets hit with the grab. Not going to commit to that Sundering Blade. It's pretty much game over, and Red Ninja knew that one, so waited it out. Team kill here for the side of Waterloo. Fantastic grab there from Destined. Waited for the commit to come through from the side of Western before using that grab, making sure that they caught at least two, and that's going to buy them the payload cap here. Moving into third point. More than 3 minutes to work with here, so it's an impressive time being set here. Jester's going to pull out the Kitsune Rush. Xander is on the side with that Sundering Blade. It hits two, but it's not going to take out the tank. Here's the Catnap. You pull in Blue Ice. And it's going to be the confirmed kill from the rest of Waterloo. But Xander does end up getting traded out here. So this Kitsune Rush from Tim Dice needs to find some more value. And we see Jester playing over on the aggressive angle. Not finding Edalim here, but Red Ninja is going to find that Edalim over onto the Cassidy. Trying to live through the Zarya beam, and we'll have the team there to back him up as well. And with Destin out of the fight here, yeah, I don't think that Waterloo's going to be able to stay in this too much longer. Little sword battle in the corner. That's going to be a win on the fight here for the side of Western. Grab ready to go. Overclock coming online as well. We saw that comboed last time. And Dr. Tony's going to have to beat on the side of Waterloo. You just have this Deadeye, but you do have the Jetpack Cat. So maybe a highest noon is in order. It's a fun one to see, but it's also a little dangerous. Yeah, I think they're planning for it. Grab out though, it took you too long to plan, and it is going to be the Cassidy getting caught up. Meester falling as well, so your entire combo is now out the window. And that's going to be a pretty decisive win here. A team kill for the side of Western. Grab committed, but very, I think, good economy otherwise. Didn't have to commit any other ults into it. You just find the raw damage coming through, and it's nice to see Western going first in these fights. They need to keep up this aggression. They need to keep up the tempo. Overclock and beat ready to go. We've seen Dr. Tony use this beat aggressively. It's going to be Blue Ice pulling out the overclock first, though. Lots of damage in, but Astro Darky's going to find that kill. Ooh, the purr from Meester going to take down Red Ninja as well, so there's no DPS on the side of Western here. But there is a main charge from Zarya, so he's still got to be careful. Xander going to shut that one down, and finally, this payload's moving a little bit here for the side of Waterloo. Didn't have to commit anything into it, and they're able to build up 4 other of their ults to work with here. So this highest noon still an option here. I'm really just kind of trying to channel it, honestly, at this point. Catnap in, and Sojourn gone. The beat not going to help that. Blue Ice stay alive through that. Oh, wait, is Blue Ice alive? No, it's going to be the bonk on the head to send home. I'm not sure what happened there. And that is a great timed Kitsune rush from Tim Dice, despite falling to lock that payload in. The team kill to finish off Shambali, and we're going into those overtime rounds, and not really a whole lot of time difference, right? 9 seconds. So it's pretty much just back to the start now, isn't it? 1 minute is going to be almost like 1 ult cycle. So you should be able to just kind of build up some of those ultimates for these teams. But it definitely is going to come down to these kind of neutral fights and who's able to find the opening picks. And feels like Western have been getting the better of those opening picks. I think especially just with the Vendetta Zarya combo, it's really easy to get super aggressive, super fast. But it is going to be Waterloo starting out on the defense here since they have 9 seconds more to work with. And they're going to take Xander over onto this Vendetta to start things out. So it is going to be a Vendetta Zarya comp coming out for them. Crucially, though, no speed here. No Lucio to work with, which you do typically see with the Zarya. It just helps the Zarya that doesn't have really any mobility, right? So it's going to be Meester over on the Jetpack Cat. So we'll see what they can get done with this on the defense here. The catnaps have been decent, and I think that Waterloo have done a good job following up on them. It's just a matter of kind of the consistency, right? We are going to have Dr. Tony over on the Wuyong here, so this Wuyong Kiriko backline, a lot of poke damage to be done. We're going to look to force out these bubbles from Destined so that you can't go for that engage with the Vendetta. All right, well, there's the engage in. Xander not quite finding anything. Brendan just going to respond, and already Astro Darky falling very, very low. The Cassidy is on the low ground here, so going to be kind of an easy target for them to pick up on. But no, Astro Darky is really just baiting at this point. He's going to find that kill onto Red Ninja. It's going to be more time gone here, and you blink and it's pretty much gone. And yeah, this fight, maybe not, a minute is not enough for an ult cycle. Yeah, so it's got 10 seconds on the board here. Now, Western is definitely going to have a good opportunity to get some overtime going here, but Waterloo can find the kill here. They are going to be able to get a pretty early fight with, but it is going to be trades coming through. So Xander is going to be taken down here. That's so much consistent damage now gone for the side of Waterloo. But, oh my goodness, Astro's going to find Red Ninja. So there's no Vendettas in these fights. Overtime still ticking. So it is going to be on Western to stay on this payload at all costs. The Kiriko very, very low. Jester fighting for his life. It's Destined on the Zarya build up enough charge that they are going to be able to stay alive and find the damage.
Complete.
That is not a very far push for this payload.
3-3.
Good stabilization from Waterloo. Excellent pick there from Astro to take out the Vendetta early on in the fight. Pretty much guarantees that your team is not going to get hit with that kind of like one-shot combo. Although I guess it's not actually one-shot anymore because she has a little bit of a nerf to the overhead damage. But I think as long as the rest of your team is just glancing in the general direction of whoever gets hit with that overhead, they'll probably end up falling. All right. Waterloo managed to hold very, very close there. Western making 36 meters, and big swap up here in terms of the tank and the DPS for Western. Red Ninja's gonna move back over onto this Reaper and then do over on to the Ramatra here. So this is a lot of frontline presence, and I think that this is pretty smart when you don't have a whole lot of space to work with, and there's not a whole lot of time either to deal with, because this Ramatra is going to have a much better time having point presence compared to the Zarya. Of course, Western is anticipating that the Zarya is going to come out for the side of Waterloo. But are they anticipating a Bastion, mayhaps? No. No Bastion to be had. Astro Darky over on the Reaper. So, Reaper Vendetta is a very strong frontline as well when it comes to just pure burst damage here. But Destin is really only going to be able to give a bubble over onto one of them as Astro is staring at a corner right now. Okay. Oh, hopefully Astro is not DC'd. Hopefully Astro is going to come back into things here. It is going to be Dew holding on this low ground here. There's the TP up. Astro still in this fight, but is a TP into a headshot from the Gatsby here. That's going to be good control of this high ground for Western. The payload has pushed quite a bit forward, but nobody got traded out in that fight from Western. So with 30 seconds on the clock, right now it's really on Waterloo to try and find a pick here. It's a long walk back from the spawn. You just need to confirm a kill. Bubble goes out. The hinder is there. Excellent heal from Red Ninja to capitalize on that damage coming from the Cassidy. And Blue Eyes not done yet. Gonna take the cat out of the sky as well. 10 seconds. And 3 players down for the side of Waterloo. It is not looking good for them to stay in this fight. It's just Tim Dice. Trigger the overtime, but now, I mean, you're going to walk into a Deadeye, and it is going to be Western. A team kill to finish things off here. A close push there, but Western going to pick up the win, and that is going to be Western setting themselves at a series point here in this best of 5. Blue Ice with the Cassidy, picking up the play of the game. Right at the end here, actually. Oh, nice hinder there, and then the Deadeye to, lock everything down. Good stuff, Western. I definitely really like the comp swap that came in as well. Definitely think that was the right call when you don't have a whole lot of space to work with, and you're expecting that Zarya. It's a really good read on what your opponent has been playing pretty much the whole time. Okay, so that is going to be a 4-3 on Shambali. Close map, honestly. And I feel like Waterloo really did kind of pick it up there on Shambali compared to on Ilios. Granted, the first Ilios map was close, but yeah, once you moved over onto Lighthouse, just not working out so well for you. So we'll see what Waterloo are going to get done over on our third map. It is going to be a push map here. So the way it's going to work, bans, because all 4 of those push maps are available for play. And oh, okay, Western is throwing me personally for a loop because they have banned out Runasapi, which I feel like I see a lot of Runasapi. So this is interesting. So this does, of course, mean that Waterloo are going to be able to pick from Colosseo, Esperanza, or New Queen Street. I never see New Queen Street. I would be impressed if Waterloo wanted to take us over to New Queen Street. We never get to see Toronto here in CCL. Almost feels like a crime, to be honest. But yeah, most teams do more opt for either Esperanza if you want to run a more dive style. Also do think Esperanza is kind of nice for the Jetpack Cat. It's one of those push maps where you used to be able to play a lot of Pharah. You definitely still can play the Pharah, but Pharah used to get more playtime, and it was because of kind of that central column that you could play around for the very first fight. And then after that, enough kind of architecture in the map, roofs to hide around, and kind of like little corners and stuff that the Pharah could do a pretty good job of LOSing hit scan. So I feel like you can kind of like translate that over onto the Jetpack Cat, where you are able to kind of stay alive for a lot longer because you can break LOS in the sky fairly easily. Or if Waterloo want to play a more rush composition, maybe they want to stick on the Zarya. It looks pretty good, I think. I think that unfortunately the way that the meta is right now is that if the other team is running Zarya Vendetta, you do feel a little bit pressured to match that Zarya Vendetta. So regardless, you can still play kind of a rush composition over on Colosseo. Maybe it's not going to be the Zarya Vendetta, but if you want to play more brawl, less high ground to work with on Colosseo, of course there is still some high ground, but it's much more focused on kind of those longer ranges in the first initial fight and then corner to corner kind of situation. So Without Runasapi in the mix here, I feel like it really does come down to Kala or Esper. If we go to New Junk City, I will be pleasantly surprised. But Waterloo will, of course, have the hero bans after that as well. So Waterloo will get to ban out the first hero. Won't be able to ban out any of the heroes that they have already banned out. So there will be no mercy. And I fear I have already forgotten what the first hero ban on Ilios was as. Pleasantly surprised. Rain is pleasantly surprised. Oh my goodness. This is gonna be the first time that I get to see New Queen Street on this CCL broadcasts, I think, of all the co-streams. I think this is gonna be the first time that we head over to New Queen Street. Western Lizards. Oh, if you get a peek at the lobby, we got the Western Lizards versus the Washed Warriors. The teams named themselves. I had nothing to do with it, I promise. Okay. Wow. New Queen Street. They're ready already, but they haven't done any bans yet. Hold on. Did they? No, they definitely didn't. Okay, very good. Okay, New Queen Street. So this... Okay, this shakes things up like a little bit, where New Queen Street is interesting in that, like, you can run the dive here. And I've seen the dive here. Usually more like Wrecking Ball kind of a dive or Diva compared to the Winston. But you can also play the Rush, but you really are forced to kind of use speed if you play the Rush. And Waterloo haven't really been playing a lot of Lucio. It's been kind of the Jetpack Cat. So we'll see what they're going to get up to over on this map. The bans are coming through here, and it is going to be Waterloo, like I mentioned, that gets the first hero ban. And it's going to be the Zarya ban coming out here. So obviously a pretty big component of that Zarya Vendetta composition. We've seen the Vendetta still be played sans Zarya, but I think it is a lot harder, and it's a lot easier to punish the initial dive in from that Vendetta. So without the Zarya on the field, it does mean that Western are going to have to play or ban out either a DPS or a support here. So are they going to ban out the Jetpack Cat? I mean, maybe? Although I do think that Meester had some pretty impactful moments, I don't know that Western were struggling to really shut the cat down. I think that Jester was doing a pretty good job. Blue Ice was doing a pretty good job. The mechanical skill of Western definitely seems like they'll be able to kind of take something out of the sky. There are some opportunities for environmental kills with that catnap here on New Queen Street, but... Alright, it is actually going to be, is this real? A Brigida ban. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Are we gonna get dive here? Doom might be playing the Winston. If you ban out the Brigida, Winston or Wrecking Ball. I don't know if I've seen Dew play Wrecking Ball. I definitely have seen him play the Winston here. Oh. Alright. We'll get to see what are we going to end up to. And, oh my goodness, we finally get to see New Queen Street here in CCL. Wait, where's the Canada flag? I gotta go find it before I throw us into the map. Here we go. Picturesque. Let's get into it. Alright, no swaps on the sides here, so Waterloo's still going to be on that blue team. Western over on the red team here. A moment for these players to tease what heroes they're thinking about. Oh, well, Waterloo, I mean, it looks like a legitimate composition. I can believe this one for sure. I like to see Meester over on the Lucio. I can't lie, look, I love the Jetpack Cat. I really do. But I do think that the Lucio Kiriko is just still very, very strong in all compositions. Rush, dive, throw it into poke.
Objective unlocks.
Tracer Sojourn for the side of Waterloo as well, so pretty classic here. I think it's gonna be back to basics here for Waterloo to try and create a reverse sweep here. A lot of pressure for this team. Do is over on this Winston, so the Brink Ban going to allow for more dive here. Blue Ice over on the Genji as well, so it's a hard engage here. The timing gonna have to be just right when you go in with the Genji and the Vendetta here. Dive in to try and take the high ground. You can see they're trying to focus down Astro, and they do just that. Excellent timing there on that engage as Red Ninja slicing everyone apart. Dr. Tony does end up falling, but the Lucio will get into the mix pretty quickly. Destined has set himself up in the gymnasium here. Wants to try and get some stall on the card, but yeah, he's gonna get pressured out here by Ju on the Winston. Astro, immediate swap off of that Sojourn over onto the Cassidy, just try and withstand some of this dive from the side of Western. Recall forced out from Xander. Fortunately not finding the pick that he was looking for. Destined, however, I think punishing Red Ninja for getting kind of aggressive on that Vendetta, and that's the price that you're going to pay as a Vendetta. If you aren't able to go in at the same time as the rest of your team, you are going to get focused down, and everybody's so low on the side of Western. And it's going to be cleanup time here. Great move, going to deny Dr. Tony the door, and the body block, but the jump is there. It's not going to matter. All right. Going to be Waterloo picking up control of the bot here. Western nearly able to get that forward spawn, but not quite getting to the butt scratch. Bomb ready to go here for Destin. Bomb ready to go here for Xander. So we'll see what these two get done with that. You're going to want to try and probably force out the bubble first from Do, or the Suzu from the side of Jester. Pushing forward here on the bot. It's a fight in the gym once again. Pulse bomb out. Not going to connect as Jester is going to find that kill onto Astro. Blue White taking out Tim Dice as well. So the numbers are falling here. Jester's slipping off the edge, but it's not going to even things up here for the side of Waterloo. They're still going to have to fight tooth and nail to try and bring this one back in. And Destin committing this bomb is going to find Blue Ice through it. Oh no, and that is going to be the remake acquired as well here. So fantastic job from Waterloo to stay alive in this fight and continue pushing this bot forward. Support ults ready to go on the side of Waterloo with the contest coming through just in time here from Doom, but oh, the Primal Rage doesn't get off. The Kitsune Rush has been committed as well, but it's not enough to keep the Winston alive. Incredible amount of burst damage coming through as Waterloo are going to pick up the checkpoint. They're going to set themselves in the lead here. And no ults committed into that. It was really just a matter of this anti-dive. Cassidy really shutting down Doom. Unfortunate that he could not get that Primal Rage out in time. Looking for the dive onto the cast here. Jester's good to follow up on that damage. Now Red Ninja does get traded out here, so the Southern Blade is off the board here to the side of Western. Nice move to deny the push. Destin picks up another kill and another one. These are committed to beat through this as well. So Waterloo are good to stay in this fight a little bit longer. I like that aggressive beat. It does, of course, mean that they're not going to have the beat ready to go for the blade that's coming online from Blue Ice. But cycling through ults very nicely here from Waterloo. On the side of Western, though, they got everything to work with here. It's going to be the Sundering Blade ready to go. Pulse Bomb! It connects, but I think it might have been over on to the Winston there, so not going to find the kills here. Here's the Blade, looking for the Cassidy. Is going to find it. Nice move here from Meester. Deny another kill, and Jester unfortunately falling to that Diva bomb. Jester somehow managing to thread the needle with these bombs and find at least one. Another kill here for Waterloo, which is going to secure more progress here, and I think that Xander over on this Tracer is really causing a lot of issues here for Western when you don't have anyone that's able to really focus that Tracer down and control the angle. Beat is ready to go here for Dr. Tony. Could use it aggressively here, doesn't have anything to really worry about. But with Red Ninja taking down Meester, maybe you don't want to commit it in here. Maybe you want to try and win this outright. There is Deadeye coming in. Defense Matrix to try and protect that Cassidy, but it's not going to last forever as Jester in the kill feed. To get the G-Mech as well. This Kiriko has been so deadly. Finally, it is going to be Western getting control of the bot here. And good restraint on the ultimate. You really don't want to have to use your ults when you're right outside your own spawn door. But forward spawn for the side of Waterloo does mean they're going to get an early fight here. Astro Darky over onto the Freya, already getting pressured out by 2 here, and that is going to be the Primal Rage in response to all that burst damage from the side of Waterloo. The Sundering Blade doesn't connect. Everybody from Waterloo is again so low. Dr. Cody has this beat, but everyone's so spread out, you might not be able to connect onto everybody. Astro is going to end up punishing Do. The Primal Rage is gone, and the damage from the Freya is overwhelming. Kitsune Rush out from Jester here, but it's a little too late in the fight, or is it? It is going to be the Vendetta still alive. Oh, and Blue Ice going to shut down the remake, not coming through this time for Destin. And all right, Jester getting the Kitsune Rush out almost turned things around for them, but the sustain was there for the side of Waterloo, and they're going to take control of this bot again. But you do not have the Diva alive, so you don't have your tank to try and be the kind of presence on the point here. Pulse Bomb ready to go as Xander does pick up that health pad. Destin is back into the fight now. Kitsune Rush from Tim Dice, but the aggression is coming through from the wrong side as the beat is committed from Meester, and both the support ults committed into this fight, but Waterloo are not coming out on top here. Excellent timing from Western on that engage to push forward so that everybody had to back up, okay, from the side of Waterloo. Now, the Pulse Bomb does connect onto Dr. Tony as the bot pushing towards the checkpoint here. There's no mech here for Destin to really put any progress or any stop to this progress. Bola shot comes out, does some damage, but does not find any kills, and it's just Astro here and Xander trying to stop this payload from being collected. Dude does have to back out though. The damage a little too great, and the support's not present in the fight for the side of Western. And great job from the TPS for the side of Waterloo to stay involved in that fight. Focus down that tank, and although you don't find the Elim onto the Winston, you force the tank out of the fight, and you stop that checkpoint from being picked up here, so it's long spawns for everybody on the side of Western. Now the forward spawn was denied for the side of Waterloo, but now it's going to be the engage coming through from Western. The Lucio is gone. Tim Dice did fall early as well, so there is no support here for the side of Waterloo, and you can see that the disengage is coming through very quickly here, but not quickly enough for Xander. Is going to get focused down with that by that monkey, who has this Primal Rage as well, so not afraid to get aggressive here and try and find a stagger kill. Yeah, he's going to go ahead, pop that Primal, but look at all that bonus damage coming through. And it's gonna have to back out, get some heals here. The checkpoint's still not collected as Destin is putting a stop to things, and Tony falls, so you don't have your Lucio here. It's all on Jester, and Jester falls as well. Meester just deleted the backline. Meester finds another one on this Lucio. The cleanup from the Lucio is incredible here from Waterloo. That is, again, a fantastic last second contest coming through from Waterloo. Back in control of this bot. A little over a minute and a half to work with, and Waterloo are looking to push it all the way here. Both DPS ults to work with, and this bomb. Forward spawn's picked up as well. Jester has this Kitsune Rush ready to go. It's going to be nice to be able to use that in this kind of a second point here. Already has the Suzu forced out, and that's the go button for Astro Darky. You know Suzu, you're going to connect onto that Jericho. Take down Blue Ice over on the angle as well, and still pushing this bot forward is Waterloo. Well-timed ultimate, recognizing what was going to shut them down. Bomb has to be committed here, and Jester's going to use the Kitsune Rush out of the spawn. Destin somehow finds a kill with the bomb. Red Ninja had that Sundering Blade as well, so you gotta be worried about that, at least for a moment here. Jester trying to keep everybody alive. Dr. Tony has to connect the beat here to make sure that Blue Ice does not end up falling. No ults here for the side of Waterloo to work with, so they're just trying to find some kills, and the numbers are favoring Western here, and their spawn is a heck of a lot closer. It is going to be a stabilization here again, just at the spawn doors, as Western's back in control of this bot. 30 seconds on the clock. Now, I have seen some incredible comebacks on push maps. I have seen it, but Western got a lock way in for this one. Both DPS ults to work with. But the DPS ults are coming online here to the side of Waterloo as well. Aggressive in from Destined. It's gonna end up fighting a Vendetta in a tiny room, so yeah, you don't want to be in there. The Pulse Bomb doesn't connect. Here's the Sundering Blade. Looking for it. All that damage onto Destin on the D.Va. Nice follow-up as well. So, first fight has at least been claimed by Western here. Now it is a matter of pushing this cart. Would love to get some stagger kills as well. Astro is committing into this. Astro connects onto 2 with the bullet shot, and 2 is so low. What a fantastic play from the Freya. I thought that Waterloo were going to go for a reset there. You really just needed one more fight win, but Astro saw the opportunity to shut things out here and now, and Waterloo staying alive in this series. I mean, it's gotta be the last play here from Astro, right? Yep, fantastic stuff on the Freya. Brilliant connection on the bola shot. Okay, it is a series here now as Waterloo picking up New Queen Street. What a fun one to get to see here, but it's a little tricky because Waterloo are going to have to now fight into back-to-back map picks from Western if they want to pull off this reverse sweep. It's a good start. They looked very, very confident over on New Queen Street. I like getting to see Astro over on this Freya as well. I think that New Queen Street is a really fantastic map for it. You have long sight lines on all of the push maps, of course, but because of the kind of lack of verticality on New Queen Street, except for kind of like those very close to the choke point or to the checkpoints, it's easy to get a lot of kind of control with this Freya. You can get yourself set up kind of in that little train station, and you have lots of kind of areas to work around, so like to see it, but it also does mean that you could potentially be a target now for a ban from the side of Western. All right, so it is going to be Flashpoint for our next map, and we do still have bans that come through, as even though, sadly, only 3 Flashpoint maps. Surely we'll get more. And honestly, I'll never see Atlas. I think Atlas is another one that I've almost never seen here on one of my Go streams. But it is New Junk City that gets banned out, so where could we possibly be going? Well, there, like I said, I never see Atlas, and unfortunately, we're not going to get to have, you know, an unseen map appear twice on the stream. New Queen Street was the best we're gonna get, so it is going to be Suravasa for map number 4. As Western look to close things out here. They just need this one more map win. Is it going to be able to happen here on Suravasa? Well, we'll have to see. Suravasa does at least play much more similarly to Control here, but, you know, I often say the exact same thing about these push maps, and Waterloo looked much, much stronger on New Queen Street compared to on Ilios, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens here on Suravasa. All right, it is going to be the first ban going the way of Western. Interesting. Western's gonna ban out the Kiriko. Do wants to play Junker Queen. That has to be it. It has to be it, because Jester was doing fantastic on the Kiriko. Honestly, the damage coming through from Jester doing a really good job just playing on an angle and kind of like baiting an engage in and then just teleporting out. And if you didn't engage onto Jester, well, he was probably going to take your head off. So, yeah, I think that the only reason you ban the Kiriko is to allow Do to play that Junker Queen. He's got a good Junker Queen, so, and if you're going to play Junker Queen anywhere, you're going to play it on a Flashpoint map. So, do Waterloo know this? Are they going to get the read on it? Are they going to ban out the Junker Queen? It would be a smart play. I don't know if Destin plays the Junker Queen, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so I mean, obviously Waterloo's not going to be able to ban out a support, so it is going to be a tank or a DPS. They haven't banned out the Junker Queen yet. Let's see. They can't ban out the Zarya. They can't ban out the Vendetta. But like I said, I don't expect that that's actually the comp that we're going to end up on here. So, they're thinking about it. Pondering. Could go for a target over onto the DPS. Maybe Genji ban if you think that Blue Ice is going to play that. I do feel like Blue Ice could play the Genji with the Junker Queen comp. Not sure though. I think that it is going to also come down to which one of these teams is going to have kind of a stronger Tracer as well. Because we did not see Western play the Tracer, and I think that that made a difference in New Queen Street. Xander able to just play that Tracer over on the angle, always putting a little bit of pressure on, and although Genji is also kind of like known as a flanker and can still control those lanes a little bit, not really able to take the 1v1s against a Tracer, because not really able to necessarily find the kill on the Tracer, and also because of that recall, you're probably not even really going to be able to force the Tracer off that angle, which you could do with, say, like a Cassidy, where you can really just kind of force the Tracer away. But Xander went more or less kind of uncontested on that Tracer on New Queen Street, except for Jester on that Kiriko. The Kiriko did shut down the Tracer a handful of times, so now Jester not going to be on the Kiriko because Kiriko is not going to be making an appearance here in Suravasa. I feel like Xander could kind of run away with things on Suravasa if he does play that Tracer. So then it's a matter of, if they don't recognize that Do is going to be over on this Junker Queen, and that's the reason for this Kiriko ban, or maybe they do recognize it and they don't care, is there a way that they can set up Xander to be less pressured out on this Tracer? Take away the Cassidy, perhaps, from Blue Ice? I feel like those would be my two bans. Those are my shoutouts. You either go for the Junker Queen ban, or to shut down Do, and protect your team from really terrifying rampages, or you look to empower Xander by banning out the Cassidy. They're theory crafting. Are they waiting for the 3-minute? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna say they're not stream sniping. They're not here to hear what Rain has to say about this. She's just throwing out random bans and hoping something sticks. That's the extent of casting, I fear. You just throw something out, and then if you get it right, you remind everybody that you got it right. Interesting. Ban has come through. It's gonna be the Reaper. Okay. I see it. I see it. Reaper plus... Now, again, I don't know that they know that Do is going to play the Junker Queen, but they knew that Dr. Tony was going to... Well, we have not seen the Mercy. In all fairness, we have not seen the Mercy from Dr. Tony, but they suspected that we would see the Mercy from Dr. Tony on Shambali, and they banned that out. So that makes me think that they have an idea of the other comps that Western tends to favor. But the Reaper ban coming out more speaks to what we've already seen in the series so far, and that Reaper Vendetta composition is really, really scary. And again, they can't ban out the Vendetta because the Waterloo has already banned Vendetta, so you can't ban it out again. So taking Reaper out of the mix here, I think that that's going to allow Waterloo to play more into the Ramatra composition potentially. You have a little bit easier of a time kind of on the front line without that, I mean, you know, classic tank buster that Reaper is. So if you're, okay, we're playing 3D chess here. If you're anticipating the Do is going to play that Junker Queen, the thing that's going to beat out the Junker Queen is going to be that kind of brawl and able to place second in fights, because Junker Queen comps are going to look to go first. It's not about kind of withstanding and engage from the other team. It's about getting in, doing the damage, finding the opening pick. So what do? You ban out the Reaper to empower your front line, which, I mean, Ramatra is the one that's coming to mind, but I suppose you could potentially play the Domina as well. I don't know that I would look to do that here where Western have been playing a lot of Lucio, because the problem with Vendetta is that she does get run down pretty easily, and it's all about kind of finding that initial poke damage, and Poke is not gonna win out against Rush. But Brawl could win out against Rush. So, alright. That's enough of hearing what Rain is you know, throwing at the wall and hoping something will stick. Let's just go into Saravasa and see what they're doing.
Ready for battle.
I don't know. I don't know, chat. I don't think I believe it. Why would you ban out the Reaper if you're gonna play dive? Why would you ban out Reaper when you could just ignore the Reaper altogether with an incredibly mobile composition? I don't get it, but my chess is not that great, so. Wrecking Ball, Sombra Tracer it is. At least I got something right. At least Dew is over on the Junker Queen. It is going to be the Vendetta coming out, and Blue Ice over on that Genji. Dr. Tony's going to be on the Moira here, so you really can see just how much Western University is trying to play into this Rush composition. Going first in these fights, they're not looking to stick around long when they're playing this. Moira, what a knife on to Tim Dice, but it's going to be Jasper that falls first here. Now, the thing about playing these split compositions for Waterloo is that your splits can be punished here. Meanwhile, though, Astro takes down a Red Ninja here, and a nice hack onto the Junker Queen as well. Dr. Tony going to take down that cat, though, so there's actually no supports alive here for the side of Waterloo, but with no tank on the side of Western, it is an opportunity to try and get the first point cap here in your Waterloo. Jester falling once again here. Xander taking a big chunk of damage. He's going to be able to stabilize, though, and that is going to be the first point cap going over to Waterloo. Quirky composition is working out for them here. Jetpack Cat Wuyong is a very interesting backline. It's an engage in from the Vendetta, but oops, just slipped off the side there, so Tim Dice is going to be able to get away. Nope, it's going to be a hack actually over onto the Vendetta. Tim Dice somehow alive for a little bit longer, but not long enough as it is. Just the Jetpack Cat now is going to be trying to keep Waterloo alive, and it's not really a whole lot of first damage. Meester versus Dew. The shotguns into the sky are not maybe doing as much as Dew would really want them to. And that is going to be a lot of percentage here on the point for the side of Waterloo. It ticks up so quickly here on these flashpoint maps.
An adjustment here for the side of Western. Dew's going to move over on to the Winston. Looking to very much punish Tim Dice on this
Wuyong, unfortunately. The least mobile hero in this composition.
Mines ready to go, and they are all over the point here as Waterloo are looking to deny the touch. Dr. Tony fading right on into those mines. Jester is the only one alive here. Oh, very briefly, however, as the supports are now gone to the side of Western. A mine claims
Yet another one as the overtime is trickling down, and Western has no choice but to try and just pile onto these mines. Destined with the slam to finish things off. It will be not quite the touch coming through here, but maybe just the reset coming through here for Dew over on the Winston. 100% to 0 here for Western, and they theory crafted all right. They have pulled out a comp that is really catching Western off guard. Garden going to be the next comp, or the next flashpoint here. It is going to be Waterloo getting out first here. The Jetpack Cat, Catnap, the Lucio, and sent him for a swim. No, the Lucio has a wall ride. Jester gets out of that, managing to avoid a dip into the drink. Dr. Tony, though, not going to be avoid that. Somebody will end up in the water. Unfortunately, is the Moira here for the side of Western, but Western otherwise making a comeback here, able to sustain through that initial engage from the side of Waterloo, and gonna get the first point cap here on Garden. Last minute attempt for Destin to try and find a trade, but the Wrecking Ball is gonna be sent back to the spawn here, and now a lot of ults to work with here for the side of Western. Pretty much 5 ults save for Dew, who did make that swap a little later on.
EMP from Astro could be massive. Needs to make sure that he catches Jester in this, though. The highly mobile composition for the side of Waterloo is going to pair nicely with this EMP. It's the hack out onto Blue Ice, and it is going to be Blue Ice sent back to the spawn. The mines are on the point here, so it's going to be hard to touch. Now that is another one claimed by the lake here. Is it a river? Good question. more mines still on the point. Dr. Tony is gonna end up falling here, and good engagement here. No EMP needed for the side of Waterloo. Just some mines on the point and a good old boop. We love to see an environmental kill. Blade ready to go here for Blue Ice. Not necessarily any defensive ultimates on the side of Waterloo, but I've been talking about this mobility, and this is where having this high mobility composition, you can try and just kite away from this Blade. Dash in. Beat from Gesture only connects on to 2, but it keeps Dr. Tony alive at least. Not actually sure who that Tidal Blast went over onto. It actually might have been Tim Dice himself, and now it's trades coming through here. Astro Darky as he's out of the fight, so there's no EMP here, but there is a Pulse Bomb ready to go from Xander. Recall Force out. The Winston is back into the fight here, and Destin is falling very, very low. Not going to be able to stay on that point for very long, so it's a little bit of a stabilization here as Waterloo, I believe, are waiting for the EMP. Here it is. Everybody, oh no, actually only 2 caught into it. Blue Ice doesn't get caught by it, so the Blade is ready to go here. Tim Dice trying to run away, but like I said, the least mobile hero on the side of Waterloo, unfortunately. Meanwhile, though, overtime here, the catnap goes out, and once again, Meester's looking for the Lucio. This time, we'll be able to get it. Lesson learned. Don't put the Lucio near the wall. Meanwhile, though, it is overtime for the side of Western here, so Waterloo need to keep somebody on the point, and they're having a very, very hard time doing that. Great shot on to the Jetpack Cat. Meester's going to be taken out of things here, and there is a hack briefly over on to the Winston, but not going to be able to get that touch. Garden going the way of Western, and they are tying us up here on Surabasa. A hop, skip, and a jump over on to Palace for point number 3 here on Surabasa. Still going to be this Primal, still going to be this Coalescence to work with for the side of Western. Destin is going to have the mines once again, but I would say this is probably the worst point to put the mines on. There's just a lot of space available. Coalescence early here. Dr. Tony getting aggressive with it, looking to find Tim Dice, and will find that elimination here. Pressure onto the Moira, but that's self-healing going to be enough here. And okay, we're going to ignore the point altogether with those mines, but unfortunately, the disengage has already come through for the side of Western, so those mines are not going to be too much of a concern for them. Little spin to win on the point here, but Destin does not have the backup that's really needed to secure any of those kills, and that is getting the first point cap going over the way of Western. Back onto Red Ninja, but the Vendetta is going to stay alive and healthy here. Thundering Blade coming online as well. Again, this mobility is going to make all the difference for Waterloo to try and avoid some of these compositions. So unfortunately, Tim Dice probably going to be in the crosshairs once again. Xander has the Pulse Bomb, the hack onto Jester. It's going to be a final blow there as well. Here's the Thundering Blade coming out, and oh no, Destiny rolling right into the Giant Sword. Pulse Bomb connects onto the Genji, so Xander trying to pull Waterloo back into this, but there is no tank for the side of Waterloo, and Do is alive on the point and ready to pop a Primal Rage should he fall low. Okay, a little bit of a stagger kill onto Easter there as Waterloo are getting a little bit staggered out here. Dr. Tony does end up falling, but with 81%, if you're going to commit into a fight, it needs to be a little cleaner here on the side of Waterloo. Do getting low, has that Primal Rage. Oh, the beat is going to come out as well, so Jester connects that onto 3. You pick up the Vendetta, and you do not drop the Vendetta because there is mobility for that hero. Is Meester going to be able to stay alive through that? Yes, and will actually end up winning that fight against the Vendetta. So an opportunity here for Waterloo perhaps to come into the fight and get some work tested here on Palace. Meester takes out Jester. Meester takes out Blue Ice. Meester, I am sorry for swapping off of the Jetpack Cat POV. There we go. It is going to be a hack on to do to help secure that kill, and Jetpack Cat not done yet. So fun to watch, honestly. She's a real treat. All right, the flip does come over here for Waterloo, but Western needs one more fight win here on Palace to take the lead and set themselves at a map and match point. Coalescence early here from Dr. Tony. They're looking to find an early elim. They are met with the mines here from Destined, which is going to shut down the entryway from main. It's a rotation up onto the high ground instead. EMP connects only onto Dr. Tony. Kill is secured though, and here's the Blade once again. Tim Dice is going to be the first victim here. The recall forced out from the Tracer, and nobody else will fall to that Blade. Astro taking down the Winston here, so it is looking good, actually, for Waterloo to stabilize here, and they will manage to win out that fight. Destin pushing forward as well to try and at least force out some cooldowns to make it hard for Western to touch here, but it is going to be the recall that the contestant that comes through for the side of Waterloo 2 is on the point. Overtime triggers here. Astro's going to fall, so having no hacks on the side of Waterloo is big. It's the Thundering Blade looking, holding, zoning. Doesn't find any damage, but it does allow for this flip to come through. So Western University back in control of Palace, and they are back in control of the eliminations as well. And that's going to be Palace picked up by Western. One more point needed here for Western to close out the series. And it is going to be Ruins, perhaps the decider at some point. Ooh, okay, Waterloo are trying to catch the Western team in the rotation here. Not securing any limbs yet, though, and unfortunately, it's Destined actually taking a big chunk of damage here. It's hard to take a fight against a Vendetta in these choke points. The sword just, it cleaves through so much. Jester does get hacked out, but he's going to be finished off here. Here's the catnap, 2 stunned out, once again going for the Vendetta. Not gonna find it though. Mine's almost ready to go here. Destin's probably gonna look to put them on point. Now the flip does go through. Ooh, are you gonna commit the mines in? You're already down 2 if you are Waterloo. No, it's not gonna be the commit from the mines here. It's just going to be the disengage. Excellent a decision. Unfortunately, Tim Dice is going to fall regardless, but be a lot of ults to work with for Western to try and hold this. Both those support ults, Primal, the Blade from Blue Ice as well. The mines from Destin have been kind of fight changers though, so if you can find your way onto the point, putting some pressure on here. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be the rest of Waterloo just off defend for themselves, but the flip does go through at least. And that is going to prompt the disengage here. Space created. No, it's an Ajax for Jester. Big kill from Meester here. Unfortunately, no supports for the side of Western. So are they going to be able to flip this back over? They're not going to have to worry about Xander, who is going to be coming back into this fight. The hack over onto the Genji. The focus there. Quite as deflect just in time. Tim Dice back in with a vengeance. He's going to take down the Red Ninja, and it looks like Waterloo are going to be able to stabilize here. After Dark straight out for 2 before dying out, and yeah, that's going to buy the time that's really needed here. Oh no, back the Moira up into a mega health pack, but we'll be able to get out alive here. Okay, excellent restraint from Waterloo to not commit ults into that fight that they ended up winning anyways. So, big slam in. Connection there. EMP connects on 2-3 here, and it takes down that Blade. And unfortunately, Blue Ice sent back to the spawn. Red Ninja as well. So that is a pretty quick fight win here for the side of Waterloo. And they are not out of this map. They are not out of this series just yet. Overtime gone. They are tying us up here on Surabasa. We're going to Shrine for the decider here. Woo! Sorry, Temple. All right, it is going to be the mine still ready to go here, and now I would say this is one of the better ones to try and get the mines out to control the point. A much smaller point to work with. Oh, it is going to be the Thundering Blade shut down by Xander. Blue Ice gets hacked up. It is a trade coming through here, but there's no tank, and now no jetpack Pat on the side of Waterloo. So with Dew still alive on this Winston controlling the space, that is going to be the point capped up by the side of Western as the point unlocks. All right, good read as the contest. No, the contest is coming through, and there's mines all over the point here. It is just Destined, I believe, that is alive here. So, and those mines are going to get cleared up very quickly. So, unfortunately, maybe not going to find the value you were really looking for on those mines. The rest of Waterloo were just not there fast enough to kind of capitalize on it. Coalescence here from Dr. Tony, just as Jester falls, so it's going to be a lot of pressure on the Moira to really deliver all the healing that is needed for Western. Hack comes through, excellent engage there, but Red Ninja barely staying alive and kind of dodging all of the Moira heals, honestly. So after Dark, he's going to go ahead and find that kill. Meester gets the Tidal Blast. Probably don't see that all the time, but very impactful. The high mobility of the Jetpack Cat means that Meester is able to get himself positioned into a optimal Tidal Blast spot pretty quickly. Primal was committed there for the side of Western. The flip goes over. 56% on the board for Western to work with. The catnap! No, it missed. Oh, it actually does get Tim Dice, but no, it ends up getting broken here. Honestly, the physics of how the catnap works with is a little confusing to me still. But anyways, it can be broken. Slam comes in here from Destin, who has built up to those mines, needs to stay alive though. And unfortunately, as soon as that ball is out of the fight, it's a collapse onto the DPS here. So although the mines are ready to go, you don't really have the resources to try and stay in that point and contest it. And that is going to be Western flipping that point over. Mines committed. Here they are on the point. Actually, everybody from Western is more or less just backed out. Stu walking in, doing a little mine sweeping while he's at it. Oh, excellent beat here from Jester. Well timed to keep everybody alive in the fight. No, it is a Jax, but a Sombra Jax. The EMP is canceled here for the side of Waterloo, and it's looking dire here for Waterloo to stay in this. Is anybody going to be able to get the touch? It is going to be the overtime triggered by Meester on this Jetpack Cat. Has the mobility that should be able to get another touch here, and yes, will manage to do just that, but now Dr. Tony has a call left and then has melted down the cat. Blade ready to go here for Blue Ice, chasing down the Sombra. Isn't able to quite find it though. Hack comes over onto Do, but the limb goes onto Chester first. Actually, the trade out here. Jetpack Cat for the Lucio, but you have both DPS alive here for Western, and no touch coming through from Waterloo. That is going to be Western closing out Surabasa, and they will take the series 3-1.
Play of the game.
Nice stuff from the Wrecking Ball. It was definitely fun to see. I do like the comp that Waterloo cooked up. I think that the high mobility made a lot of sense for what they were going for, kind of like fast hits, but unfortunately, just a little bit more kind of point presence, I think, with Red Ninja over on that Vendetta, and then with the Lucio Kiriko as well. Just able to kind of sustain through fights a little bit longer. If Waterloo were able to like win out those fights, hit their targets fast with that kind of pile drive plus pulse bomb plus hack, they were doing good at kind of finding those opening picks. But as soon as those fights dragged on for a little bit too long, sorry, it was not the Kiriko. It was the Moira, because the Kiriko was banned out. The Moira-Lucio comp actually had kind of the upper hand, which you don't always expect to see, because Moira, of course, is losing resources fairly quickly here, but Dr. Tony doing enough damage that it was okay. Alright, so that is the first of our Overwatch matches for tonight, but I do have one more coming your way. It's going to be a little bit later here, so I'm going to take a look over. Let's update my bracket so that you'll get to see the score over on it, as it is going to be SFU Capybaras taking on CESU Reds. That's Simon Fraser against Calgary. And that is going to be in the open division. So that is going to be happening in about an hour and 20 minutes. So check back in then, and I'll have a little bit more Overwatch action for you. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for coming out and supporting the Canadian Collegiate League, getting to see the Challengers teams here, Waterloo versus Western. Now, of course, it is Western that came out 3-1 here, so very well played to them. And yeah, if you have the time, I hope to see you in a little over an hour. If not, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.